So what's up everybody, Black Clover 351, spoilers out. This chapter is good. I was correct in my predictions. I did believe that it was going to focus on Asta's fight at the beginning. I knew we were going to cut to the strongest Ryuzen or yosuga and his battle, but I didn't know that we were going to get a flashback and we were going to learn more about Ryu. I really love this. It's so cool. Like, a lot of us used to think that Ryu was like fishy, there was something up with him, we couldn't trust him, but I love that Tabata kept to who Yami is. We know that Yami is kind of shady, but at the end of the day, he's a good-hearted person. He's a good person, just like the Black Bulls. They're kind of, you know, ruffians, shady people, but at the end of the day, they're good-hearted people. And for Yami to be good friends with somebody like Ryu has to be a good-hearted person as well, and we got that confirmation in this chapter. I really love that. We also find out how Ryu gets his eye. Man, it's so crazy. I really love this chapter. Let's get into these Black Clover 351 spoilers. First of all, if you like anime manga reviews, discussions, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, so issue was false copyright strike, so let's get this channel back to 5,000. I appreciate all the support and help you guys have been giving me over the year. I would not be here without y'all. I literally would have quit YouTube long ago. So the title of the chapter is called With the Shogun of the Land of the Rising Sun, and we figure out what that truly means in this chapter. It's really crazy because yosuga and Ryu at one point were rivals. They were trying to be the next shogun, and then we figure out why Ryu was chosen as a shogun. Kind of reminds me of that saying in Naruto, how Itachi told to Naruto, it's the people that chooses the Hokage. So it was kind of like what this chapter was about. It's like, in order for you to be a leader, it's not that you have to show that you're a leader, it's that people have to realize that you're a leader. You have to have leader-like qualities, and that's what really set Ryu and Shosuga apart. I really like that about this chapter. This chapter was very heartful. We have a lot more information as to who Ryu is, what is he about, and also like his name makes a lot of sense because Ryu, from what I remember, I believe his last name has to do with a dragon. Now we figure out how he got his powers. So the beginning of the chapter is basically Asta fighting the dragon. He uses his 𝚬𝚘𝚙𝚅 against the dragon and regenerates apparently. For some reason I thought that with the anti-magic it won't be able to regenerate. So I wonder, how is that dragon's like head or whatever heal itself? Wouldn't anti-magic stop the regeneration? I didn't really get that, but that's what the spoilers are telling me. Hopefully once the actual chapter is out, it'll make more sense. So meanwhile, while all that is happening, when Asta's fighting the dragon, yosuga is still fighting Heath, telling him his technique is only flashy and that's it. He says he cannot lose for the sake of Lucius creating a new world. It's funny to me because basically Lucius is just brainwashing these people and giving them angelic powers basically. Yosuga is like, of course, from your point of view, it's only natural that you think you're right. That's something that I learned. A lot of times when people have these extreme views or these negative views, a lot of times they feel like they're right, but in reality, what is morally right and what's really going on usually isn't always the case. When people do harm, they think that they're doing it for a good cause. They think that the only way to solve it is through this action, but in reality, it's not the case. They're only right in their heads, but in reality, they're not really doing what's right. I like how this chapter's kind of touching on that. Heath is talking a lot of smack on Ryu, saying he's basically nothing. Yosuga is like, yo, you don't know our shogun. Yosuga does tell Heath he doesn't know his shogun or general, aka Lucius, but he'll defeat him for the sake of his own general, which is Ryu. He basically says you don't know what Ryu did to get to this point, to get where he's at. It's really showing how Ryu has the leadership qualities, and also how yosuga, the strongest Ryu 7, he's very devoted to Ryu. And I love how they were like rivals, but then as time progressed, yosuga sees Ryu as like the true shogun. This is when the flashback starts. This is what I'm talking about. We learn a little bit more about yosuga, the strongest Ryu 7. Shosuga was the heir to one of the islands of the Land of the Rising Sun. So apparently there's like 5 islands, similar to how there's multiple nations in the Clover Kingdom continent. Yosuga was the strongest since childhood. There was nobody that could fight with him on equal terms except Ryu, the heir of where Yami and where Ryu are from, that island, which is currently the island where they're fighting the 5-headed dragon, I believe. It makes me wonder, what is basically Ryu's magic? Like, what was his magic in his prime? What was his powers? It makes me want to see more of that, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get an another flashback moving forward as to how strong Ryu was and what his magic was prior of him losing his magic. That'd be very interesting. And also this dragon, like I hope it gets explained as to what this dragon is, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to it. Yosuga explains that they used to fight with the katana in a friendly way to see who was more fit to become shogun. Like I said before, they were rivals, similar to how Yuno and Asta, but obviously Yuno and Asta weren't raised as heirs. Eventually we figure out that Yuno is an heir of the Spade Nation, but we don't really know about Asta. Actually, we don't even know Asta's father. That'd be kind of cool if Asta's father was like some royal that was like abandoned or something. Just putting it out there. Basically, they were like Yuno and Asta rivals, but they were friendly. They were just trying to be the shogun, similar to how Yuno and Asta want to be the Wizard King. Eventually, there was a plague epidemic. People were dying in both of the islands where Ryu and Yosuga was from. Like, I wonder where that plague came from. It's crazy because we don't really see too many plagues in Black Clover. So I wonder if there was like magical plague. Was it a plague from demon, devil? Who actually put that there? Like, it's cool that we actually see this in Black Clover because that's like an aspect that wasn't really explained too much throughout the series. So I hope Black Clover touches that a little bit more. Like, we learn more about like plagues or sickness, and maybe just like a magician that does magical plagues. I don't know. Apparently some people are talking about the only way to heal this sickness is through some herb, and it's called like active soul grass, apparently, that's gone extinct. How they're supposed to find the herb is from a folklore. So basically the only way to heal this plague is through a mythical herb, which is interesting in a sense to me, because it's like, if this is a plague and people figure out how to heal it, does that mean that the plague happened before? The scene cuts to a new place, and then it's called 𝚲𝚙𝚎𝚛, I think. It's the power that lies in the land. It's basically the all-seeing eye, but the only way Ryu and Yosuga to obtain this all-seeing eye, they have to give up their magic. However, the price to pay is something that most people are not going to want to give up. It's strange, like, even though it's a folklore, I kind of want that to be explained a little bit more. Does the Clover Kingdom have something similar to this? That'd be very cool if we have someone like can give up their mana and somehow, some way they obtain this like ungodly power. And if that ungodly power could be passed on to, say, their son or offspring, could that mean that Asta has a dormant power that he doesn't know from his father? I'm just throwing it out there. So Yosuga has inner thoughts and saying, it's indeed amazing to see through everything, but what's the point of not having magic? The only thing that Yosuga was afraid of is losing his magic. We know that he said he wasn't afraid. He has confidence when he was training with Asta. The only thing he's afraid of is giving up his power. That's interesting if you think about it. Yosuga basically says he will let the weakest of the weakest die instead of him losing his magic, betting on something that he can't find out for sure. However, then Ryu automatically just jumps in and says, that's all? Alright, you can have my magic. That right there shows the sign that Ryu is a actual leader versus Yosuga. Yosuga, technically he has the qualities of being a leader in terms of power, strength, but the person who actually has something that's in him to be a leader, like the quality of a leadership, and people want to follow him without question, is Ryu. That's the thing that I love about it, because it's like power isn't always what makes you a leader. What makes you a leader is doing the things that are necessary for the people, and that's what Ryu just did. That shows that he's a good guy. I really love that, because a lot of us were thinking at one point, who is this Ryu guy? He seems kind of off. I don't trust him. He's a little bit shady. Why does he have that eye? Now we figure out why he has that eye. He sacrificed his magic to save countless of people. That is a true good person. That is a honorable person that deserves to be shogun and deserves to have a following. It shows who Ryu is. Yosuga was wondering if Ryu was an idiot and he didn't care about becoming shogun, but Ryu found the herb and saved the people with the eye. And then Yosuga was even annoyed that his opponent quit, but Ryu continued to save people without changing a bit. So basically, like I said before, Yosuga thought that power is what makes you a leader. That's not the case. It's about charisma and doing what it takes to make sure that your people are doing good. And then more and more people continued to admire and follow Ryu. When the time came to pick the next shogun, the federal lords were saying that Ryu indeed is amazing, but he has no magic, and Yosuga is the strongest. But Yosuga declares Ryu as the shogun. That shows a lot of humility, and that shows a lot of personal growth just in one chapter. It's crazy how this like flashback is so quick, but it was like so much character progression in just one chapter. It's crazy. But I really liked how it was really Yosuga that declares Ryu as the strongest. And if you think about it, like somebody that could see everything, that is a power that every leader would dream of. Like, yes, it's good to have power, but you can have power with the people under you. You know, people that follow you, which is what Yosuga is doing as one of the Ryu 7. Back to Heath versus Yosuga. Yosuga uses Iron Jujutsu, Iron Warrior, and tells Heath he's the strongest. Heath is punched and apparently likely defeated. We'll see what happens. I did say that we haven't seen Yosuga's or the strongest Ryu 7 magic. It looks like his magic is iron. I was suspecting sunshine because of the land of the rising sun. Maybe that was Ryu's power. Somebody had to have like the power of sunshine or the power of the sun, because this is the land of the rising sun. You know, it's Japan. They have it on their flag. Yosuga asks if they shall make a man a Lasta who inspires for the same heights as Ryu. And then the chapter ends. This chapter was good. I love it. Also, the best thing is that there's no break next week. That's basically all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, like the video. Let me know what you think about the Black Clover 351 spoilers. Let me know what you think about Yosuga. Let me know what you think about Ryu now that we know more of his background. What type of magic were you expecting from Yosuga? Alright, like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.